cleaning out the cat's litter box, and the litter just fell onto the floor, and I had to clean it all up. So it was a fun time.
Yum.
I've had cats my whole life, so I know how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at a time I was at Carl's house and his cat pissed on my leather vest. So
He shouldn't have said what he said to Bubba.
Bubba, I don't know what he. I was nice to that cat. I don't know why.
She was an asshole.
She was.
But thanks for being here and interviewing. My name
Thank
is
you.
Alex, and I have a Instagram, and I also run a YouTube. So thanks for taking your time to come join me.
I like
Thank
the
you very much.
graphics behind you of the record. It looks so cool.
I know it does, doesn't it? I might have stolen it, but
I was like thinking, wow, she bought a tapestry, man, behind her.
I mean, that's a hell of an artist. I mean, we probably could sell him and make some good money. He's a very good artist.
Oh yeah.
yeah, for sure. I love the album cover. Um,
Have
but
you,
usually, oh, go ahead.
have you listened to the record yet?
I did
That's
two times actually.
great. Great.
So usually when I have two people, usually one person decides to go first and the other person decides to go second. I let you guys fight about who's first and who's second. And
Carl can go first. I'm worn out by these last two interviews I just did, but I'll make sure he does everything right though.
Yeah, he'll just hit the buzzer if I'm speaking incorrectly. There'll be a trap door and I fall down, you know.
Is there like a electric button I can hit and shock you?
so the first question I ask anyone that I ever interview is, how's everything going?
If I'm gonna lead with this, it's going great for obvious reasons. I'm here with Ron. We have an album that's about to hit. Things are going really fucking great, actually. So we're just super excited. We got a killer album with all these great players on it and on TP Records, and we're stoked. And we're just grateful that people care, and we're ready to hit the road.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. The next single's being released tomorrow, and we got a press release coming out, and people start pre-ordering the record, the single, everything. So things are going in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw you guys have like a limited edition kind of EP for, those who want to get like a collector's edition for the album.
There it is.
Right there.
Yeah, the little 7-inch EP. So it's got all good things on it, and then on the flip side, it's got us doing a Deep Purple cover with me singing um, "Into the Fire" off of the Deep Purple In Rock album. And there's a little bit of history with that. Ron and I got together with Reed Mullen back in what was like 2009 when Ron came to visit North Carolina. So it was a song we always loved and we jammed on, and was always on the back burner, something we wanted to release. And the it came to fruition there, like, we wanted to release an EP, and he's like, hey, we should do Into the Fire. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do that. It's an old friend, so we get to put that out there too.
It's a fun song. We enjoy playing it. We do it for sound checks, and we've kept it in our set list. And yeah, the history of it, jamming with Reed when I was playing with these guys in the Blind. We are doing the whole Blind record. It was a great time. So it's a lot of good history to it, and just reminds of good times. And Reed, I missed that guy, so
Oh
it's
yeah.
kind of honoring him as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And from what I'm understanding, there's only a limited amount of those special editions too. So fans should definitely get in that pre-order so they don't miss out on it.
It's a very cool thing. I just got them delivered the other day, which is really cool. I'm
Oh, yeah.
very happy to open the box. It's like
Old,
cool
old school to have that in your hands.
Christmas, Yeah.
hmm So, what was the creative process behind this album itself?
The creative process.
hmm
It started. Oh my God, years ago. We This was going to be the third record of from the Skull, the band we had with the singer Eric Wagner, and we had
hmm
most of it written, and then he took some of the songs away and he did a solo record, and we're going to come back to finish the record after touring, and he ended up catching COVID and died on that tour, so we never were able to finish the record. So that's kind of very much of a bummer. And I wasn't sure if I was going to continue. And my first call was to Carl and said, "Hey, how would you like to jam with me and help me get this back together? And we'll honor Eric and we'll finish the record, And we put it together, and it became, man, we got a damn good record here, man. And I'm so happy that it's out there and done. And it's like me just, it's like giving birth, something that inside that I needed to get out. Or cancer, I don't know what everyone's say, or a tumor, or whatever. I don't know. Just it was a wonderful thing just to get out of me, and it's like it's and having Carl and Scott and Scotty and Henry, and it's a wonderful been a wonderful trip so far, and I hope to continue this for a few more years and right out in the sunset, man. But if this is how did this record turned out, I'm looking forward to the future. Do a couple more records with these guys.
I think
Mhm.
I'll just say real quick, I think I speak for Scott Riegers and myself, Scotty Riegers of, St. Vitus fame, the mighty Scott Riegers, that we were just blown away and honored that got to interpret Eric's words, really prescient words, really insightful words that kind of from beyond the grave. If you read the lyrics, hear the lyrics, the vibe, it's him speaking through the songs, and we get to be his voice. And I really feel strongly about that, and it's a real honor to be a part of that and to be able to carry his legacy on, on the record.
It's nice to have Carl and Scotty put their twist on the words too. Like they wrote the melody lines and interpreted these songs and made it their own. And these
Mhm.
songs became something different than they originally were. And I think they are better, actually. I think this record is close to perfect, and I'm really proud of it. And it I don't know, Scotty and Carl, man, they came in and rescued me and helped me finish this.
That's awesome. Really cool. So I know I was reading in the information about this album that Eric had a file on his computer named the New Skull Record. Can you kind of tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, after he passed away, I'm like, how are we gonna finish this record? We got none of his lyrics. I had some lyrics he sent me, but I didn't know what with what. And I talked to the family, and I said, "Is there any way you could access his computer to see if you can find these lyrics?" At first, I had to ask, "Would you be cool with that?" And they're like,
Mhm.
"Absolutely. If we can get into his computer and get these lyrics, we'll get them to you." And they were actually able to get into the computer, and he had to file the new Skull record, Skull 3. And I was like, "Okay, we get the lyrics now. We can put this together." Then kind of like handpick, like, okay, Carl could sing this one, Scotty could sing this one, Carl sing this one, Scotty sing this one, and then finished writing it. And it, like I said, I don't know how if I would have finished the record or if I wanted to start up and do a new record if I didn't get them lyrics. So it was a blessing, and especially for the family to give us the blessing to use them. So it's
Yeah.
like to hear um, Eric's creative, because he was a poet. He wrote all of his lyrics as poems, and then we would get the music, and he would kind of put them to the music. So they're always written separate in his own little world that he was in, and we just had make the music work around it. And
Mhm. That's awesome. Do you have anything to add to that, Carl? Or
I'm sorry.
Well, I think the correct thing is to say poetry. For me, I'm always been pretty picky and choosy about um, words and careful about what I write. Hopefully, sometimes maybe not, but mostly. And then just to read his words, and to interpret them is was just fantastic. He really really brilliant writer, and he had this gift. He had this ability to see into the future somehow with these lyrics. So, and
Mhm.
that's what's so haunting is I get to, you know, all good things. Think about the words there. So much of this is just points to almost like he knew he wouldn't be around, and that we would be, you know, remembering him in his verse. So there's a great power and tragedy and beauty, and it's he's just a great writer. So yeah, it was just mind blowing to delve into that and try to interpret those words and make it my own as well, and not step on it in any way. Like I said to people when I was first asked to do this, I felt I was kind of freaked out. I always held the guy and still do in such high regard. And as I
Mhm.
said, canoe-sized shoes, to giant boots to fill, and I'm still blown away and honored that I get to do that and to interpret his, I think, brilliance.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of cool too because it's like he's in the album with you guys too,
He
which
is,
is
yeah,
always really nice to kind of have that in an album.
right. I just,
So,
one of the things going to Germany, I was slightly when our early tours in Skull stuff, and then the first show with Rieger's coming in, which essentially was the you know the first taste of Legions of Doom when Scott Rieger's we did what was it Hand of Doom festival in Germany.
Hammer of Doom, yeah,
Hammer
Hammer.
Doom, sorry, yeah, Hammer Doom. Excuse me.
So
mhm.
many Doom fests. It's kind of hard to
Yeah, no. So
differentiate.
so so we're doing this festival, and I was like, the German fans are going to skewer me, but the word kept coming back, and then I was out there in the crowd later, and the one guy came up to me and says, "Eric is smiling. Eric is smiling." And it was like, I was expecting to get skewered, and people said, "No, he's alive. He's smiling." And that's I carry that with me, that kind of reaction, and that's how I think people need to look at this: is that it's sad, but it's also joyful. You know.
Mhm. So that brings us into the next question. What's your favorite song off the album?
Wow. You go ahead, Carl.
Oh well, obviously everything I sing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what you got to say because I'm here. No,
My favorite's the instrumental. No,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
what is that?
I
Oh,
mean,
no,
it's
they're
hard
all
to
my
pick. It's like all these babies, right? Like it's hard to pick your favorite kid. You know,
right.
Mhm,
I there's I obviously I look I'm gonna root for my songs on one level because I sang them, but then I listen to this Rieger songs and they're mind blowing and heavy as hell, and he is just this mighty force. So I know it sounds like I sound like a cheese ball, but I love the whole thing. Maybe for me the opening track, just for me, Beyond the Shadow is just like I feel like for me, it's just like coming out of the gate, it feels strong, and
mhm.
I feel like it's making a statement. So maybe that's my personal favorite right now, but I love the whole thing.
I'm looking forward to playing it for the first time this weekend with you guys.
I know, right? We're all going to be in Texas this weekend to rehearse.
I relearned it this morning. It was fun playing it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah, we all
awesome.
we all live in different cities, so it's for us to get together is difficult.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got a drummer in Texas, two of us in North Carolina, and two dudes in Chicago. So it's
Okay, Scotty's in California, so
and
yeah.
Scott Riggers is in California. Yeah, so it's like a whole process of getting together. So when we get together, we mean it. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's
Well,
every song, every time I listen to it, I listen to the whole record, it's like, "That song's great. That song's great." So it's hard to really pick a favorite. I'll have, because each one you listen to, you remember the whole process of getting there. So
Right.
it's really hard just to pick one. It's like I'd like to be a fan and listen to this record and do it
mhm.
that way. I really wish I could just like transpose into somebody else and hear it for the first time to see. But it's like every song is its own journey,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, and it has its own little trip about it. And yeah, I love the whole damn thing. It's really there's nothing no not a clunker on this one at all.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you said that the album's like almost near perfect. How do you feel now that it's finally done and the release date is set?
I'm sorry, what?
How do you feel now that the album is done?
You're I don't know, it might be my computer, but you're cutting in and out.
it
You're
has a
you're frozen
release
up
date
there.
already. Like
Did you
you're
get
finished
her, Carl? I couldn't
with
hear.
it. There's no more recording
No,
or anything like
she's in
that.
and out, but I can speak to the question because I heard it. Is now the whole album is done. It's a major relief, obviously, because now we get to go bring it to people live. It's that simple. I think that was the question. Oh, there she is down there. Oh, she's back, kind of.
Yeah, I was asking how do you feel about the album now that it's done and it's been
Oh,
released?
oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's I'm damn proud of it. I'm really. It is to me just like it's a relief, and it's a creative masterpiece that I am damn proud of. And with these guys, it's like you can pick your perfect band. I mean, I think we got it. I mean, it's fun hanging with all these guys, fun playing music, and I'm looking forward to playing these songs live and touring, and it's going to be a good time.
yeah, it's just yeah. Finally, we get to take something that's been realized in the studio and then actually bring it to the stage, and that is a really exciting feeling.
It's really hard. It's like when you do a record, and a lot of times you'll tell people we're going to be playing it as a band for the first time, and they go,
Mhm.
"What do you mean?" It's like when you write, some songs aren't even completed until you get in the studio, and you all do your individual parts and not really together. So it's like you get to go to rehearsal and play the songs and relearn the record because it's different than when you went into it than when it came out because things change in the studio. Magic happens and
Oh yeah.
things happen to the songs. And when you get together and play the songs for the first time, it's it's an exciting time.
Yeah, for sure. I know, like I said, I
It
listened
is.
to the
There's
album
it is.
twice,
There's
and the song "Heaven," can you kinda tell us, like, what that's like having that in the album and kinda just tell us a little bit about it?
that one, man. Wow. Because Eric, every record he would send me acoustic song and said, "Make it heavy." And I'm like, "How do I make it heavy? Just louder? What do you mean?" And Lothar and I would just shake our heads and like and not do it. But this record, before he passed, I said, "I got to do it this time. I got to make this song on the record." So it was one of them. But he sent me the lyrics, and it was different lyrics. So it was very strange. He recorded a whole bunch of songs, just him playing the guitar and singing on one microphone, and now they got a new technology. The Beatles just used it, and get a
Mhm,
John Lennon song to separate his vocals from the piano, which you can do that now. So we did. He was a big Beatles fan, so we did the same thing. We separated his vocals from the guitar because he wasn't much of a guitar player. He wasn't playing too well on it, and
mhm,
we took his vocals and kind of fixed them and got it to like a metronome click track. And our guitar player rewrote the song to his vocals. So it was like a one guitar track of Lotar playing with Eric singing, and we all had to go in the studio and play our parts over that, which was really weird because you're hearing Eric singing in your headphones while we're playing. It was very it was hard to do. It really was emotionally challenging, and it brought the best out of all of us. I mean, it felt like he was there in the studio with us all, and
mhm,
like made it more real. It just made the record made it whole. You know, because we're
mhm.
honoring him anyway, and also he's part of it. So it's like the little bit of magic of bringing him in and joining us and making this organically special and different. And for him, about him, but it's about us, and he was there with us. So it was a nice completion to his journey and us and handing it to us, and we're moving on without him. But I'm glad he got to be part of it and be on this record with us.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Do you have anything to add to that, Carl?
Um, Not well, other than I've obviously had nothing to do with that song other than just to receive it like a fan, and
Mhm.
Very fortunate to be a part of it. I listen to it. I'm just it's beautiful. It's transcendent. It's haunting. It's
Yeah.
really great, and it's like Ron said, it's a great way of honoring him, and he's a part of this, and it's a transition, and it doesn't feel cheap in any way. It
Mhm.
feels like a real thing. It's substantive and meaningful, and it's super cool that that's the almost the glue, the center of the thing in the middle of the record is that. You look at it like as that's the center of the vinyl, center of the record, center of the vibe.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like you said earlier, it's like you weren't sure how fans were gonna take to you being on the album since there was a different person that was in the band, but it sounds like fans are really loving what's going on and that, you took this opportunity to include him.
Yeah, we it's people have just been really cool. Right? It's really simple to just I we haven't run across any, I mean, not that I'm aware of, but people have been really open to it, and they feel like it's not a waste of time. It makes sense, it feels
Mhm.
right, and that's
We
the
try to
the,
keep
the
it we're keeping it positive and doing it like for
yeah,
the right
exactly,
reasons and doing it the
exactly.
right way, and like I said, it's his lyrics. I mean, we started this with him, and he needed to be part of it, but we need to move on. And it's like we're able to do all of it in the same record and keep it flowing from start to finish. I mean, his
Mhm.
songs, Carl's songs, and Scotty's songs, they all fit. It's a very nice flow from start to finish. And like I said, I think the record's perfect. It really, really, it was a magical experience, and I'm happy and proud, man. I can't wait to start rocking this weekend. It's gonna be fun.
Everybody needs to buy 10 copies each.
And like
Minimal.
the single,
Minimum.
the next single comes out tomorrow, so it'll be a press release tomorrow with pre-sales for the record, the single, everything. So it's all happening in a hurry.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So where are you from?
I'm in Tennessee.
Oh, all right, cool. Muddy
Yeah.
Root. Fun.
Or what's
I got relatives in Tennessee. I used to go there every summer. I love it down there.
It's nice. Definitely for sure. So I have to ask, what are you most excited for fans to hear on the album?
Man,
Oh, most excited for them to hear. God, I mean the whole thing pretty much, in my opinion, like just what I want fans to do, if they I want them to take the time and listen to it from beginning to end and look at
Mm.
it as a whole piece. Obviously they may be drawn to one song more than another here and there, but it's really, I think, a narrative, right? A story. And that's how I look at it. There's a trajectory, and I think people need to look at it as a complete piece, a little like a journey. That's how I think they should approach it. And if they can take the time, old school, like when Ron and I were growing up, you put on the album, you listen to the whole album. It wasn't about like one single, one song. It was about the whole album.
it's a chance for the younger generation to experience a record, like buying an LP and listen to it as a record, and it's written and presented and put together as a record, not a bunch of songs, and that we're proud of as well. So it's the whole CD generation and coming back to vinyl. It's like it's not a lot of bands know how to put together a record,
Right.
you know, like
Mhm.
hills and the valleys and stuff like that, where you just throw a bunch of songs together. But I think we accomplished it and did it pretty damn good.
You're not hearing the same song over and over again. You're hearing a lot of different, just like I said, it's a kind of a story, and that's how I see it. You know,
Yeah, like I said, I usually listen to albums at least once, but I had to listen to this one again today, and I'm like, this is really good. And then you got, it's like starting is good, middle is good, then you got heaven, and then the ending. I'm like, this is perfect. I really enjoyed it.
thank you. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Awesome. That you're getting it then. I mean, you get the chance to listen to a record, a new record that is presented as a record.
Mhm.
It's a lost art. Not many bands do it anymore.
This is
Yeah,
true.
that is true.
We really
And
appreciate you getting the word out there. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
yeah,
Absolutely.
um, it's my pleasure. I love interviewing bands, so it's definitely something I love doing. I love listening to new music, discovering it all. It's all just really nice.
Awesome.
So I have to ask about the artwork and also the album name. What was kind of the inspiration for that?
Look, the album name, when we were gonna do it as the Skull, it was gonna be called the Skull 3. But with this one, I just wanted to call it the Skull. I didn't want to call it the Skull 3, but the label was kind of like, I don't know. And so I did a little tail on the artwork. So is a 3. So I was just going to call it the Skull with that little 3, but then they just started calling it Skull 3. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. 'Cause that was the original title anyway, but it would have confused people. But the artwork is David DeAndrea. He does art for like the band Sleep and and all these bands over the High on Fire, all these bands over the years, a lot of the desert bands, and his artwork is pretty damn famous, throughout the
Mhm.
community. And I met him in Chicago at an art show, and he said he'd love to work with me one day, And this came about. Friends of mine in Chicago have a shop, and they had one of his paintings hanging in the shop, and it was similar to this one. And I called him. I said, I would love to use this. He said, well, somebody already did. I'm like, well, can you make something similar? And I kind of explained the situation, what we're doing, where it is like the skull and it's evolving into something else. So the way he did with the skull, with the like the butterflies are coming out of the skull. It represents what we're doing. We're going from
Mhm.
one phase to another, and he captured it perfect. And with the curtains and everything, it's like the first draft he sent to me, I'm like, so what would you like me to change on it? I'm like, oh, nothing. Dude, it was just he captured it perfectly. I mean, he is an amazing artist, and we're lucky to have him available to do it. And he captures the heart and soul and pure essence of what this record is about, for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like that all the colors. It's like you have the dark colors, and then you have like a pop of color too, which kind of makes you intrigued about what is this album about.
Good. It's like I said, another old trait of records. You'd go to the record store, and sometimes back then we didn't have the internet, so we really didn't know music right away. Like now, it's like boom, that everybody in the world can hear it. Like our single tomorrow, everybody's going to be able to hear it. But you walk
Mhm.
in a record store and just check out different album covers. I remember like when I saw like Unleashed in the East by Judas Priest. I'm like, wow, look at this, and I had to buy it. And
Mhm.
and that's how you discovered records. I mean, we used to trade tapes and stuff like that, but that was way back then. But I mean, going into a record store was a very unique, fun
Yeah.
experience. And then you find the cool finds. Sometimes it didn't work out, but a lot of times you find some cool new things. And the whole thing about going home and opening it up and putting it on and reading all the credits while the music's going,
Mhm.
it was an experience. Like I said, we didn't have the internet back then, so it was a time to get in your room, smoke some dope, listen to music. It was a wonderful time.
And back then too, you often, if they didn't have the lyrics and the liner notes like inside the album, years later you may find you'd find the actual lyrics and realize you'd been singing the wrong thing for like
Exactly.
10 years, or something. But
Exactly. Or the
yeah.
fun thing, you'd go along with the lyrics with the words, and sometimes you'd hear like the singer sing something different. And I
Mhm.
never realized that till we started doing records that you had to send in the stuff way in advance, sometimes before the record was even done, to get everything sent to the plant and done up. So a lot of times what he sings on the record ain't exactly what is written.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty fun. But it was cool. But yeah, it's like we would come up in our minds and write out the lyrics what we think that they were singing. Carl said it's like, yeah, a lot of times it was wrong.
But it's okay because your friends are all wrong too. So you all are just wrong together.
Yeah, exactly.
Say hi to Carl.
Hey,
There's
Stinky B! That's my
um,
girl, Stinky B.
Uncle Carl. There's Uncle Carl.
Hey, Stinky. Oh,
Oh, she's heavy.
Stinker
It looks
Bell.
pretty heavy.
Oh, that's my girl right there.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything you want to add to the album cover, Carl? Any thoughts or
I'm just just yeah, what can I say? I mean, Ron nailed it, man. It's just a great. He's a brilliant artist. And what's so cool about the album cover? It's maybe it's obvious, but you see this transition in the art itself. It's represents rebirth, death, and rebirth right there. The I don't want to overstate, oversimplify, but you see these beautiful butterflies emerging from a skull, and what spells rebirth more than that? Really, it's
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
it's there right there in front of you, and it's a total package. You have this physical representation, this actual art in front of you, and then this art inside, right? And it's
Mhm.
a total package, and I couldn't be happier with it. So I'm just really proud, and I think it's working on a lot of levels, and I'm excited about people being drawn in by this album cover and the music living up to the album cover. You know what I mean? Like going
Mhm.
back to what we used to I used to buy records sometimes and be like, cool, this is a great cover, and then play the band. Like, oh, this sucks. But this is actually like, I feel like we're doing it justice all the way through. The
Mhm.
album cover, the art, the interior, the lyrics, the music, everything. It's a total package.
Awesome. So I do have one last question for you guys because I want to be respectful of your time. What would you like to give the fans as a message? Like old fans, new fans, anyone who's interested in seeing you on, your shows that you're playing.
You know what? If we're coming through, it might not, it might be a rare event. So please come out and check us out. The band is incredible. A lot of I get to play with some of the best people I've ever set foot on stage with. Just brilliant players. We won't disappoint. It's a great show. If you can make the journey, if you can afford to, or whatever, you know what I mean. Come on out. We want you there, and we want you to think of this as a transition to more stuff coming your way. This is just the another phase of this project, and then there'll be more to come. So I want people to latch onto that and realize that this is the start of a beautiful relationship.
Plus, for all our old fans, I mean, who've been with us forever, hopefully we're giving them what they like and what they missed. Like I said, development, like having a record and the music and the whole schoolness of it. Um, and for the young people who never got to experience it,
Yep.
or give them a taste of how it was done, but in a modern way where you can still do stuff like this. And it's like there's so many young bands just discovering Sabbath and Priest and Zeppelin,
Mhm.
and they missed out on the whole part of the record store thing. And I think we're giving them something cool to check out. Like for the old
Mhm.
the new fans, the complete thing of how musical package was put together and delivered. So it's how do you say
Generational.
yeah, generational. Yeah, absolutely multi-generational. So hopefully everybody digs it and smoke some weed and have a good time and listen to the music and dig the vibe and hopefully jump on the train and take a journey with us.
Well,
Oh
that's
yeah, man.
awesome. Well, I want to thank you both for taking the time for doing this interview. For anyone who is interested, remember 10 copies minimum. I will put links in the box of this video, and it does come out on September the 13th. So make sure to grab your copy.
Friday the 13th, Doomsday.
Yeah, what could go wrong, right? Woo!
You need this album. Well, Well, thank you both very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Alex, you
Thank you.
rock. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you very, very much. It's been a pleasure.
All right, you guys take care.
Bye.
Cheers.